Trump administration's work to get the two countries to the table and brushed aside some of Moscow's fiery rhetoric. On a Friday filled with major developments, I spoke exclusively with Vice President J.D. Vance, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and Sergei Kyslytsya, Ukraine's first deputy foreign minister. Through it all, one thing struck me: how very far away from each other Vance and Lavrov seemed on talks to end the war in Ukraine. During my early morning conversation with Lavrov, the top Russian diplomat repeatedly stressed that the conditions aren't yet right for a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. He suggested that it was Ukraine, not Russia, who was blocking progress on a peace deal, and repeatedly chided Zelensky for prioritizing theatrics over substance. Kyslytsya struck a bit of a middle ground. He praised the Trump administration's work to get the two countries to the table and brushed aside some of Moscow's fiery rhetoric, but he accused Russia of trying to manipulate the U.S. and said he sees no signs there is a readiness on Putin's side to have meaningful conversations. As far as a key question, the debate over territorial lines, Kyslytsya added that Ukraine's public is categorically against trading our land for peace. And, when we spoke about territorial issues, I think President Zelensky made it very clear he's ready to sit down with President Putin and discuss it. And the beginning of the conversations on the territorial issue is the contact line that is currently there. Even as he conceded that negotiations can be a roller coaster, Vance praised both Russia and Ukraine for making significant concessions. He framed America's role as one of a mediator, not trying to force one side to take terms they can't stomach but one that tries to keep the door open to good faith negotiating. And he framed the administration's negotiating posture as persistent, willing to press on even if they hit a brick wall. I hope you'll join me Sunday morning on Meet the Press to watch more from our interviews with Vance and Lavrov. More from the Vance interview. The VP confirmed the administration is in the very early stages of an ongoing investigation into former National Security Advisor John Bolton, whose house was searched this morning by the FBI. But Vance denied that the investigation was retribution for Bolton's criticism of Trump. Read more. My question is if all the red states and all the blue states follow the redistricting solution, which party comes out on top? Just how many seats would be up for grabs? Republicans have a clear advantage in the redistricting arms race simply because there are more states where they have full power. And in the vast majority of those states, lawmakers are in charge of drawing the maps, furthering the GOP's edge. In total, Republicans have a trifecta, meaning they control the governor's office and the legislature. In 23 states, compared to 15 for Democrats, according to Ballotpedia. In 18 of the 23 GOP-led states, the state legislature has at least some role, if not a leading one, in drafting congressional boundaries. And across those 18 states, there are 44 districts represented by Democrats for Republicans to theoretically go after. As for the other 5 states, Republicans already have full control of their congressional delegations. 3 are small states with single at-large districts, and 2 have independent commissions that draw their lines. Included in the group of 18 are the states Republicans are currently targeting in their mid-decade redistricting effort. Texas, 13 Democratic-held seats. Florida, 8, Indiana, 2, and Missouri, 2. Also included is Ohio, 5. Where lawmakers are required by law to draw new maps since the last version was passed without bipartisan support. As for the Democrats, they have far fewer targets as they scramble to counter the GOP's push ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. In the 15 Democratic-controlled states, the legislature is involved in drawing congressional maps in 9 of them. 5 of them have independent or political commissions that handle the lines, while the 6th, Delaware, has just 1 district. Of the group of 9, Democrats have full control of the congressional delegation in 5 of them. Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Mexico and Rhode Island, and in 2 of them, Maryland and Oregon, Republicans hold just 1 seat in each. That leaves Illinois and New York. Illinois Gov. J.B. Pritzker has left the door open to redrawing the state's map, but Democrats already represent 14 of 17 districts. And in New York, where Republicans represent 7 districts, the process comes with significant caveats. An independent commission initially draws the maps, which lawmakers can make changes to with supermajority support. Democratic legislators introduced a bill that would allow them to get around the commission and the state constitutional requirement that the maps only be drawn every 10 years. But it would need to pass through 2 consecutive legislative sessions and be approved by voters, meaning a new map wouldn't go into effect until the 2028 election at the earliest. This all explains why Democrats have turned their focus to California, where Republicans hold 9 seats but an independent commission typically controls the redistricting process. Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation Thursday setting up a special election this fall in which voters will be asked to approve a new congressional map that could net Democrats 5 more seats, potentially offsetting the GOP's moves in Texas.